And welcome back. Tom Pace with the Talk of the Town. Over here at the Cattle Registrar Voters Office with Ernie Robertson, the actual cattle registrar. He's been doing this 20 years. And this is another in our ongoing series of videos about voting. This one in the fall 2010 elections, what's called the midterm elections. And Ernie, the one thing that you said, a lot of people are asking questions about voting. And you've come down with the top 5 questions that people frequently ask you. And how do you get all these questions? Do they call you? What's the deal?
Yeah, we pick them up on Election Day, and about 92% of the people, way back in 2004, on Election Day, ask the same question. It runs 90% or more every time we have an election. And the first question is, where do I vote? And the great thing about it now is you don't have to call us and ask, where do I vote? You can actually go to cattovoter.org and find out the answer, because all you have to do is go to that website, click on where do I vote, or am I registered, either one, and you're going to find out where you go to vote. All you need is your name is registered and your birth date, and it takes you to the secure Secretary of State's database system, and you can look it up right there.
So it's very simple. The top 5 questions, and number 1, where do I vote? That's number 1.
Where do I vote? And that's the most commonly asked question by far. And on Election Day, the one thing you need to know is cattovoter.org.
And that's the website for all of you, if you're just now realizing it or you already know it, created by Bandwise, Alan Marsalis, and all those folks over there. Just made this a great interactive website, Ernie, with your input and your direction, probably one of the most very premier websites in the United States.
It's been very well received, and one of the reasons is whenever you go to your own particular where do I vote click on, you can also find out what's on your ballot, and that's our second most asked question is, what am I voting on? And so you'll find out what is specific to your precinct where you're registered. Now, everything that's in that precinct you may not be eligible for because you may be out of the city. And this time we're voting on in the city elections, but we do have statewide elections, and you'll be eligible to vote on that. So that's the second most asked question is, what's on my ballot?
What's on my ballot? And again, www.cattovoter.org. That's the website. That's the Cattle Registrar Voters website, administered by Ernie Robertson. And Ernie, I understand now you've got mayors and you've got school board and the whole 9 yards, right?
Right. We got mayor of Shreveport, city council of Shreveport, Cattle Parish School Board. We got a special election for a lieutenant governor in Louisiana, as well as a special election for House District 5. And a lot of people also are always going to ask us, too, can I register online? Because a lot of times whenever we start talking to them, they would say, can I do this online? Well, now in Louisiana, you can register to vote online, but you need your driver's license or your special Louisiana ID card through DMV so that you can enter the audit code, and that's right beside your picture. You're going to need that. That's our fraud prevention in Louisiana, something brand new, came in May, but you can register to vote online now, and that's the third most asked question.
And that question is?
Can I register to vote online? The answer is yes. You can also change your address, you can change your party, and you can get all that done online now rather than having to fill out a card or call us to mail you a card or anything like that. It's 24/7 and very convenient.
And so that's the whole deal. Number 3, the most frequently asked question, can I register to vote, and how? And you can register to vote online at www.cattovoter.org. Now, certain situations apply in terms of registering and which election they're eligible for.
Right, and our next deadline will be the Monday after our Saturday election, so that'll be on October the 4th. You need to be registered by that date and eligible in order to be eligible for the November 2nd election. And that brings us around to the fourth most asked question, which is, what are the dates of the election? And so answering that, you can go to our website, or you can find out that it's October the 2nd. That's the primary for the mayor, the city council, the lieutenant governor, and all the other elections we were just talking about. And then the runoff or general election would be November 2nd, whenever we get the federal candidates back involved for U.S. Senate and U.S. Congress.
So the fourth most frequently asked question is?
dates of when are we going to vote, and then the dates of early voting, and those are also on our website too. You'll find out when we do early voting for those elections, and you'll be able to plan in case you want to come early vote rather than go to the polls.
And so if someone wants to early vote now, and they're already registered and everything, for the October 2nd election, what are those early voting dates?
Those are going to be September the 18th through the 25th. We're closed on the Sunday that intervenes in there, which is the 19th. But we're open 8:30 to 6, Saturday through Saturday. So you don't have to worry about parking on Saturday. And I always encourage people, if you have parking problems during the week, or either come after about 4:30. It clears out downtown after about 4:30, and you can come vote after you get off from work.
Alrighty, so now we've got the top 4 questions most frequently asked. What is number 5, Ernie?
Number 5 is really very simple. Absentee by mail. How do I get the form? We got a lot of kids who are students, and so we wanted to have the form on the website so they can get it if they're off at college, or even for the military, if they're wherever they are, they can at least get the form off of there and get it to us. Plus the fact that anybody else that needs that form, just go on there and click for the absentee by mail form. It prints off in a PDF format. You've got it. You have to fill it out. You can fax it back to us, mail it to us, get it to us some way, and then we'll get your ballot ready for you.
And they need to do that pretty quickly after they do it. If they know they're going to be absentee voting, it's got to be relatively fast, because you have to have them in a very time-sensitive fashion.
Right. I mean, that's one of the most important things to remember is if you know you're not going to be here for early voting and you're not going to be here on Election Day, then go ahead and fill out your absentee by mail form and get it back to us so that we can have you in line to process when we get the ballots. And a lot of times, Tom, we don't get those ballots in elections until about 3 days before early voting starts, and especially in runoff type elections. So it's a real tight time frame for us to get them, get the military done first, then come back and get all of the folks that are civilians done and get all those ballots mailed out, and then you got to get it back to us. So I always tell people, get your request in early.
Get your request in early. Make sure if you're a Caddo Parish resident and registered to vote, it's Caddo Voter, CADDOVOTER.org. Ernie, this was your brainchild to have it very simple as a URL.
Right, and it makes it a lot easier for people to be able to go ahead and find the website. It keeps us open 24/7, and all the information you basically would need to know is on that website. And that's the top 5, Tom.
Top 5. Why don't you recap them quickly for us?
Okay, where do I vote? Number 1, 90% of the people ask that question, what's on my ballot? You can find that at the same place on cattlevoter.org. Can I register online? The answer is yes. It goes through the secure website of the Secretary of State. The dates of early voting are the election dates, talked about that, and then the absentee by mail form where you can just print it off.
And that's so simple. It is the top 5 most frequently asked questions about voting. This is coming up what's called the fall midterm elections, very important elections, and just right here for Shreveport, going to be electing a mayor and then lots of city councilmen, and again a special election for House District 5, and also for the lieutenant governor's race. So, and in addition to school board. So Ernie Robertson here with us on our continuing series of videos on voting, the fall 2010 elections. I'm Tom Pace with the Talk of the Town for Ernie Robertson and everybody at the Caddo Registrar Voters Office. Again, www.cattlevoter.org.